Hey, welcome to Three Dorks on Demand. We're sorry we're late.
Fashionably late, techie
Um,
stuff.
yeah, that was a horrible, and we're sorry that we've done this
Oh,
to you,
I can't breathe.
Mhm.
Mm.
which is really,
We're so late. I
it
almost
was
finished
really
my.
my fault that we're late. We're not going to blame anybody else but me.
We're gonna say
I had to go look pretty.
shit happens.
No, there were some technical issues, but it's
Anyway,
okay.
There
They've been
were
resolved.
techie things going on there, but we are here now. We're gonna make the most. We're going to
yeah.
dive into these dumpster fires.
And even if you're not watching it live, you can catch up to it and give us your opinions on.
There's a Calvino. Thank you for waiting for
Thank
it.
you.
I'm so
You're a
excited.
real one.
I'm like super
Hi,
excited for this
Calvino.
episode.
Yeah, it's a great topic.
Oh yeah.
Came out a great brainstorm session that we had a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Do you want to just
At
go around
first.
the horn and
Sure.
everyone gives their opinion?
I like that idea.
Yeah, go ahead. So why don't you start us off, Nick? What do you think?
Oh yeah. All right.
Howard?
So for this, as I was going through and I was brainstorming, I was thinking about movies, and I'm like, there's so many bad movies,
Sean, our hero.
Sean. Tons of epically bad movies, and the first ones to come to my mind were all from 2024 because this has been a year of shitty movies.
Crap loads of crap.
Right. Aside from like Dune 2 and like Deadpool and Wolverine, it's just been crap after crap after crap. Um, so starting us off earlier on in the year, this movie, a
hearing.
superhero movie that had
Oh boy.
no business existing in the first place, based on a very obscure character,
Is this going to be on my list?
maybe,
I'm
who
sure it's on all of our
have
lists.
like powers that are conductive to a cinematic experience in the first place, and also never at any point in time really became the superhero or the version of herself that she is in the comics. At any rate, it's Madam Web. Madam Web was a horrible, horrible movie. It's bad when a movie might be worse than Morbius. Like Morbius was terrible, but Morbius at least there was like some entertainment value in how campy it was. Like there was that scene with what's his name, the Doctor Who, Matt Smith, where he's like dancing and it's so over the top. Like you can tell, like Matt Smith realized he's in a terrible movie, so he's at least going to try to be entertaining.
He's
Yeah.
going to make the most of it.
He's
Madam
going to
Web
try to steal the show. Yeah.
None of it. Madam Web is just awful. There was like a trailer that showed like Madam Web and a bunch of like Spider Women, and they were like fighting, and it was like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe
Right.
we'll see like Spider Girls and that. Yeah, nope. That scene is like a vision, like that this one dude has of a potential future where they kill him. That's the
Wow.
only time that they ever have their costumes. Otherwise, it's just like it's the most unlikable protagonist. Madam Web, whatever her, I don't even remember what her real life name is in it. Something Webb, it's her last name. She is not likable. She's a paramedic who doesn't give a shit about people.
Oh,
Like,
that's
she
bad.
doesn't care. Yep, doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Okay, so this is my take. Okay.
Wait.
Now I know you have some, but
Confession. I have
this
a confession.
this movie was so bad that I didn't even know it existed until it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Believe that.
I have a confession.
Don't
Yes.
say you liked it.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Oh, that's fine. Good.
Okay.
Good on you. You're the only
Okay.
one winning because
So-
you didn't see it.
I
The
didn't watch
reason
it.
that
I just knew it was on Netflix before I even knew it
The
existed.
reason I haven't seen it is because of the bad reviews.
And
It's
you've
one of
heard
those
it so
things that,
bad,
like,
right?
I'm like, okay, it can be bumped to later in the list because you have a list of things that you're currently watching and things that you want to watch.
Yeah, and
things
it's kept going down on the
And-
list. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Even-
Just strike it. It's not even entertainingly bad. It's just bad.
even the actress, the main character, has come out and said, like, this is shit. This is not good.
Yeah. And
Like,
but she's a part of the reason why it's shit. To be fair, like
Yeah,
very
yeah,
easy.
she should
I
take
feel bad.
ownership.
And one of my movies I'm going to talk about where definitely the actors were trying and they're very good actors. And in her case, like, I don't know, I'm not going to say that she's a bad actress, but what I am going to say is that at least in this movie, she did not put any fucking effort in whatsoever. Like, she is so boring. She is not entertaining to watch. Her character is hateable.
so
Very bad.
I haven't seen it, so I can't make legitimate comments, but I can ask questions. Do you think, after having watched the movie, that it is a case of um, maybe she had ideas in production, maybe she had spoken out, or maybe she tried to do things and she got poo pooed, and she's like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'm just going to phone it in?
I think it started with phoning it in. To be honest with you, I
Okay.
think that this was an example of Sony trying to be the MCU, and again, they're trying to do it because they own the rights to Spider-Man properties. So they were like, "What can we do? Let's make. Hey, we have this character, Madam Web. Let's make that movie because we might as well. Let's try to farm these characters and see which ones are actually successful." And
Yeah.
I think that she got hired onto it, and probably pretty quickly, as she read the script, realized this is a stinker. This is a piece of shit, but I'm getting paid, so I might as well still do the movie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's garbage.
All right, and I think it's such garbage that it's probably merited enough time that we've talked about it already. So why don't we go on to our next movie from Ray?
Okay. So this week, although I absolutely 100% adore the topic, was probably one of the worst ones for me, only because I'm gonna make an analogy here, and I'm gonna start throwing some names out there, and I'm gonna say that Bronner is like a Simon Cowell, and Barone is like like a Randy, and that leaves me as Paula, who just likes fucking everything. I don't know. I'm that person that if you're saying a movie, like I enjoyed Morbius. Everybody says it's shit. Everybody says it's trash. I find redeeming value in the movie. I enjoy it. I like shit movies.
I have a whole list of movies that fit that category.
Tremors is one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay. Now, granted, there's a limit to how bad the movie can be. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to get the most controversial thing out of the way. And I'm just going to say that, in my opinion, other than one, every Will Ferrell movie is bad.
Mm.
I don't like it. I don't like his comedy. I don't like his style. I don't like stupid. It's not stupid humor, because I do like movies that are stupid humor. I think it's going too hard, to be too over the top, trying to be extra, and it just reminds me too much of like those pick me girls. Like, he's all, look at me, I'm an idiot. You're not funny. You're just an idiot.
Yeah,
The
me
other
too.
guys, however, is about the only Will Ferrell movie that I can stand, and I absolutely 100% love it.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask. Was which is the one?
Yeah,
Sean,
it's a peacock.
funny
I'm
story.
a peacock.
Elf is probably my least favorite of the Will Ferrell movies, and it's because it's a combination of a Christmas, which I'm not a Christmas fan.
Unless it's a rom com.
Right. If it's those like stupid,
Hallmark.
I even like those movies where it's the worst fucking acting in the world, and you know the guy is gonna move to the city and fall in love with the woman. But I'm not a Christmas person, and I'm not a Will Ferrell person, so Elf is the worst one for me.
I think that's kind of fair. I think that he kind of picked up on that energy of like what Jim Carrey was doing back in the early '90s.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna just be slapstick and goofy.
And he
Serious?
did it poorly. It's not like he took what Jim Carrey was doing and he added value to it. I'm not a huge Ben Stiller fan. I find more redeeming value in Ben Stiller. Syrinx says Adam Sandler, pretty close to the same. There are very few
Agree to
movies
that, Sean.
of that
100%.
group that I'm very on the fence with Seth Rogen too. There's very few movies. It's just that genre of comedy does not resonate with me.
Hmm.
Like what's the Zoolander?
Yeah.
I
The
wasn't a
first
fan.
one was great.
It wasn't though.
It was great.
It was not.
I loved it.
Dodgeball.
I think it was
There
enjoyable.
are redeeming parts of it,
I
but I'm not a
loved
fan of
Dodgeball.
the movie as a whole.
Dodgeball? No.
If you can
No.
dodge a wrench, you can dodge a
I
ball.
can accept all of these things, but dodgeball, that's a step too
That
far.
is, I will say, the dodgeball ranks higher than a lot of them.
I
But
love him. I love the actor in that. What's his name? The tall guy.
listen, The Wedding Singer was a good movie though. I did enjoy The Wedding Singer.
That was Adam Sandler's
That is
best movie besides Happy Gilmore.
100% Adam Sandler's best movie.
Happy Gilmore was the best movie. I literally was rolling in the aisles at the movie theater.
Okay,
Happy
Happy Gilmore.
Gilmore.
When I was young as a kid and I watched it, I liked it. And then like I think I rewatched it probably in my late 20s, and I was kind of like, it doesn't really hold up the same way.
I didn't go back. I didn't go back to the well on that one. I
Yeah.
enjoy let it live where it lived. Although I saw The Wedding Singer about 500,000 times.
Right. I love The Wedding
It was very entertaining, very
I'm a chick.
nostalgic for me.
It's a chick flick. You know.
Yeah, I love
The
Dodgeball
Wedding
too.
Singer is legitimately good. The Wedding Singer was a fun one.
You know, and
It was
I'm gonna
fun.
catch a lot of hate for that. And that's fine.
The Adam Sandler movie where he did with the basketball player was excellent. It was a Netflix movie.
Which one?
I don't know. He was some
Oh.
basketball coach and he was recruiting some like Lithuanian guy.
I heard about that, and I heard that one
That
was
was good.
Excellent.
I do like his serious movies better. I think he can do serious very well. Like Mr.
The one where he played the jeweler. What was it called? Something Stones or Gems, Uncut Gems.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one was brilliant too. Vince
Sean,
Vaughn, yes.
I find Vince Vaughn of that category of that like core group that all kind of hang out together and do the same movies together. They're in all of each other's movies. I think Vince Vaughn is the best of them. I kind of like his comedy a little
Vince
more.
Vaughn.
That movie he did with Jennifer Aniston, The Breakup.
And Vincent D'Onofrio.
Hilarious.
Excellent movie.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn, Vincent D'Onofrio. The Breakup was hilarious. What was that movie where Vince Vaughn plays the stepdad? And it's really dark. And the stepdad is like super violent.
Freaky?
It's an older movie.
Oh, I don't know.
He does really well in serious roles too. So.
All right. So.
That's my thing.
That's a big giant group, and I'm glad we got to plow through every single Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler.
Shots in that one.
All right.
And just sit here with a drink.
My list kind of exists of the most disappointing, the ones that I was anticipating the most, and that actually crashed down on me and disappointed me. Absolutely, like unforgivable cinematic poopy turds, horrible. And the one that I'm going to choose now,
Domestic Disturbance. That's the movie I was.
That was great. That was with
good.
John Travolta too, right? Yeah. I think
John Travolta played the dad, and then Vince Vaughn was
the stepdad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine had a great cast.
Ooh.
It was such a good show for me growing up that I loved it so much. And they decided they were going to make this movie, and I was so looking forward to this movie, but it was Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger.
Yeah, that did not go over well.
Oh my God, what a pile of crap that was.
That definitely did not go over.
It was horrible. And it should have been great.
Wasn't that? Oh my God! Didn't he star opposite? Was it Army Hammer? The guy.
Yeah, Army Hammer was
canceled.
The Lone Ranger.
Sexual assault or something.
Was that happen? Did that happen?
Yeah. What's up?
What happened to my hat? I don't know.
I have it now.
I traded. Yeah. Why? Do I look better in a hat? Should I cover up, or is there too much shine?
I love your head. Don't do that.
You can show the head.
Too much shine.
We're that bald head, loud and proud.
I am. I do. All right. So mine was the Lone Ranger. It was just a big pile of crap. Don't waste your energies on that movie. There's much better Johnny Depp movies,
What was it
and
about?
none of them happen to be a Disney pirate movie. Those all suck too.
What was it about the Lone Ranger that made you?
First of all, it didn't have any of the majesty and the majesticness of the TV show. There was nothing really like, man, he was the biggest hero. Like, you race home to watch this TV show because he was such an icon, and it didn't live up. And Johnny Depp wasn't. He was the Indian. He was Tonto, and Tonto was amazing. So that was
my
the
question
movie.
for you is it objectively a bad movie for you, or is it a bad movie because it doesn't live up to what you have in your mind? You've built something up in your mind about this show.
It was bad all the way around. There was nothing good about it.
It was just a bad movie.
I'm just playing psychologist at this point.
Yeah, it was just bad. All right.
Johnny Depp, famously not Native American, playing Tonto, which definitely wouldn't fly today.
No.
I also need to add something on there. I misspoke a little when I said that Armie Hammer was like accused of sexual misconduct. He was, but he was also accused of cannibalism.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why you don't hear a lot about Armie Hammer nowadays.
Yeah.
His time is done.
Yeah, cannibalism's kind of a career ender.
Oh. Searing says, on a scale of The Room to Cats, where would you rank it?
Oh, God.
I would put it right below Cats. I would sit through Cats before I sat through Lone Ranger.
Hmm.
And nice pull on The Room. The Room was a good movie.
I think Cats as well, because The Room, the idea here being The Room is so bad it's fun to watch, whereas Cats is so bad you want to get rid of yourself off a bridge.
And Cats was horrible. I mean, it was like almost unbearable to sit through. Like,
not what I was thinking.
Honestly.
My bad. The Room is not The Room I was thinking of.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay.
I think that one was called Room. Just Room.
Just Room. It's the one where the mom is in there
Yeah.
and she like gets her son out.
It's like a
very
different movie.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, what do you got next?
All right, number 2. So sticking with 2024, this movie it is very bad. In fact, this movie probably should have never been made.
It's on my list, I'm sure. It's on my list, I'm sure.
I don't know. It might not be. This one, well, okay, so
is he in it?
Is he in
it?
Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But it does have a pretty impressive cast. It has some really good actors in it. And also one that I was kind of like, why this guy? But anyway, this one, I'm just going to tell you the title. It's Megalopolis. Now, if you don't know the backstory behind this movie, Francis Ford Coppola, the guy who did The Godfather, he had apparently envisioned this
and
movie
like Apocalypse Now. I mean, like world-renowned movie guy.
World-renowned director. He had the idea for this movie in the back of his mind for years and years, and he'd been kind of iterating on it. And he decided he wanted to make the movie. He couldn't get anybody to finance it, so what he did was he sold his like millions dollars worth, like $100 million worth successful wine business to get the money to finance the film so that he could do it himself. That money did not pay back because it only made, I think, like 10 million or something in the box office. So he lost a bunch of money. And having watched it, I did go see it, by the way, in theaters. I went and saw it specifically because I was told it was so bad that it would be a good cinematic experience because of how bad it was. And it absolutely was. It delivered. It was so bad it was good. It was very weird. It was full of so many cinema sins, like a lot of misguided choices. The gravest of all being making the movie in the first place. But the characters were like, they were so bonkers. They were like cartoon characters come to life. And the dialogue, the way that they spoke, it was like, it was not like human beings speak. Like, I think he thought that he was having them speak in some like big, deep, imperialistic way, and like they just came across as not people. They didn't seem real. He also had them like just throwing philosophy quotes at each other, which is really weird. And like I'd hear him, I'd be like, I know where that one's from. Ha ha. Very bizarre. Yeah, dialogue very convoluted, very inorganic. There was also a lot of
Wow.
like weird glorification of American exceptionalism, but not in any form of way that like made sense or was coherent. And that's really kind of the idea. Was like it was just kind of a mess. There were so many themes thrown in this movie. A lot of them conflicted with each other. Like on the one hand, he's talking about how like fascism is bad. Like there's this one character played by Shia LaBeouf who, by all means, was like the most cartoonish of all the characters in the film. He's so over the top. He's like at one point he's like cross-dressing and like laughing maniacally and acting just batshit crazy. I feel like they just gave Shia like cocaine and said, just go nuts. You don't even need a script.
Which, you know, if you know anything about Shia LaBeouf, you don't even have to give him cocaine. So adding the cocaine means something.
Right?
Yeah.
That just gives it next level type stuff.
So like
Megalopolis.
He starts like creating some populist movement that's it's fascism in disguise that he gets the people to be in support of. But then like the director decides the answer to that is to hand over like the entire architecture of society to one billionaire who is going to reshape society to fit his vision. And I'm like, but that's fascism. So what are like why do we have these things like your solution to fascism is more fascism?
More fascism.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
What are you doing? And but the weirdest thing to me, and I don't know what the fuck he was thinking or what he was on when he decided to do this. There are many times in the film where he decides to split the screen into 3 panels and then just start flashing symbolic imagery at you like you're having an LSD trip. And it's all just like beating you over the head with the theme. Like
Maybe you're supposed to be on LSD when you watch it.
Or
Probably.
shrooms.
Probably enhance the experience, or at least like take an edible or something.
That's gonna be a shroom movie.
Right.
I think a shroom movie for us.
Oh, there's also there's
Tyler says
more
cocaine
things about this that I do need to touch on before I go full rant.
Pass the torch.
There's a scene in the movie that he had where Adam Driver, so great actor, fantastic, but just in a terrible, terrible film. Oh yeah, he's the main character. Poor guy. There's a scene where he is giving an interview, but the idea was that somebody, like the theater was supposed to have a person that comes out and starts interviewing him, like an actual worker at the theater comes out and starts interacting with the screen. And so he just starts responding to questions that somebody is supposed to be asking him. But a lot of theaters didn't get the memo and did not know that, and also don't have the staff really to do that anyway. So a lot of theaters in the very beginning run theatrically just saw this scene of Adam Driver randomly answering non sequitur questions. It's very
that is so awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's so great.
Wow.
We're gonna have to watch that.
Yes.
On shrooms.
On shrooms or something.
I am definitely. That's a shroom movie for sure.
Yes. He also
not that I'm promoting drug use on this show, but
whatever.
By shrooms, we mean mushroom pizza.
Mushroom pizza from Marco's.
From your local pizza place.
But yeah, so the premise of this film, I should mention that, I guess. There's a guy played by Adam Driver. I think his name is Caesar. By the way, they're in New Rome, which is just New York City. It's New York City, but it's called New Rome for some fucking reason because he thinks that New York is the new Rome, and it's stupid. And he's trying to reshape society. He's the billionaire. He's basically like what people think Elon Musk is, but like trying to reshape society. But he also kind of has superpowers. He can stop time. But he doesn't really use it effectively at any point in time in the movie.
And could be very, very handy to have.
Could be a superpower to have. I think we just tried to like stick way too much shit into this.
Way too much shit. Yeah, there's
way too much shit.
But at a certain point in time too, he's famous because he created something called the megalon, which is a magic molecule that
is a
building material. But apparently, it can also restructure your face because at a certain point in time in this film, a child shoots him in the face, a child assassin, and he just regrows half his head using the
Okay.
same thing that's used to make buildings.
All right.
3D printer.
Hey,
It's a
All
weird
right.
movie.
Megalopolis, check.
we're
Watch
gonna check that on.
What
the
you
list.
got next?
So I have one that surprisingly, like when I looked to see like where it ranked for everybody, it got a lot more positive reviews than I would assume that it did. So it came out in 2014. It's a horror movie. And generally speaking, when we I can't talk too well. Generally speaking, when we're like looking for horror movies to watch and we haven't seen them and we look at like the IMDb ratings, we're kind of lenient on it because
It can be
horror
like two
movies
steps down, I think.
don't rate well.
Yeah, for
They
whatever
just
reason.
don't.
So we actually look at the user reviews.
So exactly. But the IMDb rating on this horror movie is a 6.8.
Which is high for horror.
Right. For horror, that is a
Yeah, it
good movie. And I did not like it at all. And It Follows. And that's the movie
Oh,
where
I hated that movie too.
you have to sleep with somebody to transfer the evil spirit that is now possessed.
It's an
you.
STD
Yes.
that you.
It is a sexually transmitted poltergeist. I didn't like it. And surprisingly, while looking this up, so many people enjoyed it. Like she gets it from her boyfriend, and this whole movie, she's like trying to get and it's just stupid.
It is
a
horribly
stupid concept to me. I just didn't like it.
Oh, it was horrible.
And I'm very lenient on movies. Like you guys have heard me say, I said I like Morbius. Okay, that should tell you everything.
Right? Enough said. Exactly.
But for me to say a horror movie, and I am very forgiving on horror, that I didn't like it, that's saying something.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
that
is.
does sound like a wild premise.
Apparently, I am the weirdo who didn't like it. Yeah, but it's this fatal curse, and you gotta sleep with somebody to get rid of the curse.
I feel like I might enjoy it, but for the wrong reasons of like laughing at it.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you would just to laugh at the concept. Obviously, it's not trying to be campy. It's just a hilarious concept.
See, I think it could be a good movie if they leaned into it and made it super campy. If they did that.
If they did it on purpose, absolutely.
And I think they could have easily done that because it had a very 70s vibe to it.
I'm gonna write that one down.
But
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, you've watched Sharknado and enjoyed it. You should, and Velocipaster. So definitely watch It Follows.
So I'm going to jump in, and my next selection is it's kind of like I like to do potpourri. I'm a big fan of potpourri.
We talked about potpourri last time.
Very, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I bring it up again. But this is a potpourri of movies that you could easily intertwine, interexchange for one another, and you would not be missing anything, and you would not get confused in storyline. I mean, you could pretty much just cut it up and put them all together, and you would not be able to follow the movie any better than you would the original screenings of these movies, the original subject matter. So these movies happen to be Green Lantern, Fantastic Four, Batman and Robin,
Whoa.
The Adventures of Pluto Nash, and Battlefield Earth. You could take any one of these movies and just intertwine them in any way you want, and
Thanks
you
for
would
taking
get
Green Lantern. That was literally my next one.
getting the same crap. Okay, well then take Green Lantern out.
You can go deep on it. He's doing like a broad strokes thing,
Yeah, you can go deep on whatever. But if you think about what I'm saying is that, and Batman and Robin is hard for me to put on a list. And we talked about this before we went on. And actually, I think you predicted accurately that I was going to have it on my list.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of liked the movie too. I'm not going to lie. They leaned into camp just the right amount that made it me feel like it was kind of a takeoff of the original TV series, more so than following in the line of the Batman movies, which were deep and dark and serious.
Yeah.
So it went definitely the opposite direction, and I appreciated that factor on it. But there are movies out there like um, the Adventures of Pluto Nash, which was a Eddie Murphy kind of a space movie, and it was just horrible. And Battlefield Earth, which was a John Travolta space movie, which is based on like an L. Ron Hubbard like
Mhm.
huge selling novel that, but it did not even come close to representing the novel. It was just complete shit. And
Tell me how you really feel.
yeah, and the Fantastic Four movies, 100% big old dookie stains. I
Mhm.
mean, there's
I
nothing
think
there's
every
nothing
single
good about them.
Both of them. Both of them.
Both of them.
I'll say all three of them. 'Cause
I
they
didn't
did
even
the-
know there was a
right.
third one.
yeah, they did the
Yeah.
reboot movie later.
So
Was
I would
even worse.
honestly say that the first one is probably the better
All of
of
them
the
then.
four, only because if you look
Jessica
at
Alba.
the well, hey now, but if you look at the caliber of movies that were being produced at that time, it holds up to what was being given to us. Then if you take the second Fantastic Four and you put it against the caliber of movies that were being put out, it is directly at the fucking bottom. It's not even in the playing field of things that were coming out at the same time. So on top of being a bad movie, it doesn't even dance in the same playground. It just fucking sucks worse than the first one. Now, granted, the first one still sucks, but
Oh yeah, I forgot to put Spider-Man 3 in that category.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That also belongs in that category.
Spider-Man 3 was heartbreaking to me because number one, the first two were great. So I
Right.
had reason to
amazing.
expect the third one was going to be great. And I went
Especially
there
because they were introducing Venom.
Oh,
exactly.
Searing said something controversial. He says Howard the Duck. Don't you dare call that a bad movie.
What? Howard the Duck's terrible. What are you talking about?
It
Phenomenal.
was so bad it was good.
Exactly.
There's
it was so
duck
bad. It
boobs
was
in it.
amazing.
Doobs. Ducks don't have boobs. They can't be milked. They're birds. And
Okay, if ducks don't have boobs, then how do you have duck breast? It's literally a meat. Duck breast.
Well, yeah, because it's. I mean, like they don't have mammaries. Like
They don't have nip. Do they have nipples? Do they even have nips?
Don't have
in
nipples.
Howard the Duck, they do apparently.
Ducks don't have nipples.
But
Sorry, Siri.
that was creepy. If
We
they
have
have
agree to disagree. I loved Howard the Duck.
if they have nips, I mean that is just so like I don't know. That
Okay.
takes like the furry thing to the whole
Adam Sandler,
another level.
Meet the Parents. I have nipples. Can you milk me?
That was an Adam Sandler. That was Ben
Oh, that was Ben
Stern.
Stiller. I'm sorry.
I was gonna let her get away with it, but I was like, nah.
Yeah. I had to move you right.
That was a
plus.
great movie. That wasn't even a bust. That was good.
It was better, but only because of Robert De Niro. His character made it
Yeah.
palatable.
I do think that Ben Stiller should be in a different category than all those other guys that you kind of went off on. I'm with you on Will Ferrell. Look, I think that there's been like one or two good movies he's been in, but Ben Stiller, Tropic Thunder. I mean, come on, Tropic Thunder was great.
That was good. That was good. That was a good
Dodgeball was
movie.
great.
There we go.
But we talked about that. All right.
But so Green Lantern, since you stole it from me, we might as well just discuss that a little bit. What made it so terrible for you? Everything.
Yeah, there was nothing
There's
good about
no
it.
redeeming
There was
quality.
nothing good about it. Nothing.
For me to say it was a horrible movie?
I mean, I would. His costume wasn't bad.
Really, it was terrible. It was terrible.
It was painful to look at.
No, I loved the little mask. That was
Oh, no!
so good. It was so Batman and Robin.
And you
They
hated
had the same costume designer as Batman and Robin.
It looked like
It did look like
weird.
ass. I'm being
He looked
facetious.
like
And then they
Robin,
skinned on PlayStation 3 graphics onto him as his suit. It was
right?
terrible.
Yeah,
Standing there
I'm
butt
being
naked.
facetious. I was being facetious. That's
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
I
there was
honestly
not. There
couldn't
was
tell.
nothing good about that movie.
It was horrible. When I picture Hal Jordan, I don't picture Ryan Reynolds. Like, granted, yes, he's a great actor. This new Deadpool is his lane.
Ooh,
It's his lane.
What was his name?
so good.
The original Deadpool from Wolverine Origins, not so much.
He was horribly miscast in that role.
He can do kids movies and Deadpool movies till I die, and he'd be great.
Deadpool's great, but Hal Jordan, no.
No,
So you don't want him to do any
Second.
more Van Wilder movies?
no. I mean, he can do movies like If and Pikachu Detective,
No.
and
Okay, so no more Van Wilder movies.
no, man, I don't need titties and beer anymore in my life.
The most upsetting thing to me about that movie was that, like, so at that time that movie came out, like the Green Lantern comics were the shit to be reading.
Oh, good, dude.
They were so good. It was like when they introduced all the various different Lantern Corps, and like it was such a good run. The Sinestro Corps War happened. Excellent. So with a Green Lantern movie coming, like I was so hyped. I was all into Green Lantern. Couldn't wait to see it. I heard Ryan Reynolds got cast. Even back then, I knew I was like, that's not really the guy to be Hal.
Right.
That's kind of off, but who knows? Maybe he'll pull it out. No, that movie was awful.
It
I think
was
maybe
bad.
like one redeeming element is that like Mark Strong wasn't a bad choice for Sinestro, but he was in a terrible fucking movie and he was given terrible material to work with.
And
I
we
think-
love Mark Strong. I mean, as
I
an
really
actor,
do. He's
so
great.
good.
I think the only redeeming thing that I can say about Green Lantern is that they learned their lesson as opposed to Fantastic Four. Green Lantern came out and they went, ooh, we fucked up. Let's not do that for a long time. And we haven't seen a Green Lantern.
But there should be one
What?
coming.
That's also a problem because as a Green Lantern fan, that meant that like it ruined the franchise. They didn't want to take a risk with another one to make an actually good movie.
And I would honestly prefer that they not touch it until they know they can give me a good
I'm
product.
okay with
Because I don't want them to follow in the
Gunn
footsteps
being behind the next Lantern.
of Fantastic Four and just give me another subpar fucking movie, because then that means we will absolutely 100% never see another one.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll
If
be
they
a
bomb
happy
twice,
I will be a
they won't
happy
see.
man if they just stop making movies like the ones we've said so far. And like, I don't even want to steal. It's probably on his list because it came out in 2024. But
Maybe not.
you know,
Maybe.
I can
There's a lot of bad movies to choose from in 2024.
smell what the Rock is cooking.
Oh, that was on my list, fucker.
That is not on my list.
Oh wow,
But if it's the thing I'm thinking of, it is bad.
yeah, horrendous. And I think it was 2024, maybe 2023, but it was bad.
Fair.
I know. I don't even know.
I liked Spawn. I mean, I thought the CGI they did on his cape was really cool. I didn't much like the actor, the Jaden, whatever his name
That's what I
is,
thought.
that played him. But I did like Spawn series. I mean, I didn't hate it. There's a lot of movies that are on bad lists that I don't hate. And I'm going to cover a few of those later. But Nick, you're next.
All right. This one, oof. So for the longest time, video game
Way
movies
better.
were bad. And then all of a sudden, they started making good video game movies, good video game adaptations. And I thought maybe we were in like a new video game renaissance. And then Borderlands came out.
Oh,
Boy, was that just god awful.
Is that a series or a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
Would have loved if they had done like an animated series. I think I've talked a little bit about the idea of like if they did an anthology thing like on Netflix.
instead of just a movie.
Would have been
coming out
really
of it.
cool.
That would have been cool. Instead, what they decided to do was miscast everybody. Whole cast is just the wrong people for the roles. Have an awful script. Try to do Guardians of the Galaxy minus any of the like found family, any of the like compelling and interesting takes on the characters. It just didn't work. It wasn't fun. They
God
cast
awful.
Kevin Hart in the movie as Roland, who is not a funny character at all. And I thought, okay, well, they're going to change the character and make him funny. No, they just cast Kevin Hart to act like a dude.
Normal.
Like,
And,
yeah.
and he wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fun. They had Kate Blanchett in there, miscasted as Lilith. It didn't make any sense. They also, I thought they were gonna like not address the fact that she's too old for the role, because like they did cast somebody who is far too old for that character, but they make a point of mentioning her age a remarkable amount of times in that film. It's like, wouldn't you not want to draw attention to your flubs? And the worst part to me though was Claptrap in the games.
Oh, really? He was supposed to be great, funny.
He is. In that movie, he was not.
No.
He does silly shit, but the silly shit always leads you somewhere. Like he makes an oopsie, and then then a wall blows up, and then you're moving on to your next area in the level. So it's productive. It does something. In this movie, it did not. As after they find him, all he does is like add some stupid commentary one-liner to everything that they do, and it doesn't contribute, and it's not funny. It's just annoying. Terrible. And the plot was bullshit, didn't make any sense. They make a whole deal about Tiny Tina where they make her like super important, which didn't make sense either because she was always just a wacky NPC. But
she actually had her own video game though.
She did. And that made sense for what that was. This was like they made her integral to the entire story of the plot. The plot. She was like the MacGuffin. Except then she just magically wasn't. Like, so she was super important. They had to find her. They had to bring her to go do the thing. She was supposed to have like some ancient blood that was going to unlock the gate and yada, yada, yada. And then, no, she didn't work. So like
and then it just poofed away. No, yeah.
Yeah, an hour worth of that movie was for no reason. Just none.
So what we all love nowadays is a complete and utter waste of
our time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it was a disaster. Really sad.
And the ones that you've mentioned, I have avoided.
Good call.
Luckily. Yeah, luckily.
Yeah. Honestly, 2024 has been probably the most discerning that I've been when it comes to movies. Like, usually I'm like, you know what? Most people say it's bad, but I'll give it a shot because I quite obviously like things that most people don't. And so I will generally give it like a month or two after release and visit it just so that I have my own opinion on it. 2024 is the year of like, you know what? Fuck it. Nobody liked it. Whatever.
It's definitely leap year. It's something that we can absolutely just skip over, gloss over. I don't know that there's anything besides Deadpool, like you mentioned earlier, that's redeeming about 2024 at all. So
I gotta say, Dune 2 was also really great.
Oh yeah, very great.
Right.
But that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really 2024. That was 2023 and delayed to 2024.
True.
But Mortal Kombat Annihilation was bad.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't horrid. Yeah.
Isn't that the animated one, the Annihilation?
No, that's the one from '97. It's
that's a short,
It's the sequel.
The small movie, right? The short movie.
Annihilation is the one where it was the sequel to the first Mortal
Kombat. Yeah, horrible.
It had like the claymation, like Liu Kang becomes a really awful looking dragon.
Yeah, it had nothing redeeming about that.
As a child that watched Power Rangers, you can't tell me Annihilation was any worse than like the filming style, the animation style. Like, I watched Power Rangers and we look at Power Rangers and say, you know what? It was fantastic. We love it. It's nostalgic. It's this, it's that. So why can we not apply the same principles to Annihilation?
Because the first one was actually good.
I think
not great, but good.
In that, yeah, Annihilation was kind of campy in that same level, that vein of Power Rangers. And it had, I'd say, a pretty similar production. Although I will say that even the monsters and Zords dressed up like people in costumes, like they were looked better than
I agree.
They put in Annihilation. Yeah, I think that the idea is that you were like, that's like Power Rangers is a goofy show for kids, whereas like Mortal Kombat is supposed to have at least like a teen to adult fan base, and it was just goofy and shit.
As a kid, I watched it as a kid.
I did too. But I don't think we were the target audience. Maybe.
No, definitely not.
But that was also back in the 90s. That was a weird thing because, like, I remember, like,
That was fantastic.
Terminator 2 had, like, action figures for kids. And so it was like, but that was an R-rated movie. But they did that for a lot of those R-rated movies. Like, Alien had like, action figures, but, like,
because
because
teenagers and grown-ups collect those shit.
They knew the kids were watching it, so why not market it? But Syrinx is absolutely right that the TV series of Mortal Kombat Conquest is like one of the best. Like hands down, they do it so well, I think, in my opinion. I think Mortal Kombat, given its like giant pool of material, just works better as a series. Like even the recent movies, while I can say I enjoy them,
everything works better as a series.
Well, that's
in my
true.
opinion.
Most things.
Not everything. Not everything.
I'm hooked on series,
but it is a good media style. But I mean, you look at Mortal Kombat and even the new movies that came out, which I enjoy them, and other people think they're trash. They're not horrible, but
utter trash.
Essentially, all you did was give us a series in 3 hours.
Wasn't even? They didn't never go to Mortal Kombat.
Finished it.
They didn't go to Mortal Kombat.
There's still no Mortal Kombat.
It can't be considered Mortal Kombat when they never actually made it to Mortal Kombat.
We have a shirt for this, for crying out loud.
Yeah, we have a shirt from our old show.
But yeah, I think that there's just too much. There's too much history. There's too much backstory. There's too many characters to choose and pull from. It needs to be a series.
I agree.
I would love an animated series, but use some of the animation and graphics that you get from like the video games, or like do it like arcane style. I don't know what style. That's a specific style. Or the Blue-Eyed Samurai. That style would be beautiful with a Mortal Kombat series.
I would honestly love to see it in a traditional like anime style animation.
I think they might have that somewhere.
Potentially.
There's one I think they did do like an animated movie, might have been like a direct-to-video release, but I'm pretty sure that does exist. But I
want a good one though.
Like a good
like X-Men 97.
You could essentially
that caliber.
With all of the backstory and all of the characters and all of the stuff that you can put into it, you could do another One Piece length. You could do 1,000 fucking episodes like One Piece, you know?
I mean, there's so many characters. Defenders of the Realm. I remember that. I didn't like it. All right, Nick, shoot us with another one.
Oh yeah, this is back to me. All
right. Skipping me, so
this movie had no business being made. Should have never been made. That's kind of a theme here. Most of these shouldn't have been made, which I'm kind of happy Megalopolis was made secretly because I do enjoy hating it. But The Crow was great, the original one. There was no reason to do a remake.
You're just going to piss me off.
None. There's no point. You know, like Brandon Lee tragically
nailed it.
That movie is always and forever going to be linked to him. And so the idea, like, no one was asking for it. No one was begging for it. You can always pick up the old Crow and watch it. So why remake it? And the idea is just because we have the IP and we can make money. And that's the entire reason why they made the movie. Mm-hmm. I don't even think that the writers or the directors liked The Crow, because this movie had very little of The Crow in it. It was mostly a relationship drama about like two people who met in like prison juvie. I don't know. It was weird. Instantly fell in love after like one date. Then they both get murdered. And then apparently like she goes to hell because some demon dude mind controlled her into murdering someone, and then he goes to purgatory. It's really bad. I
hear nothing good about it.
Yeah, it takes like an hour before he even becomes the Crow and does the Crow stuff in
The Crow stuff.
Crow.
Like that is going to be a line. I'm going to use that. Hey, baby, you want to do the Crow stuff later?
When he does it too, he does it. It's done poorly. Like it's just stupid, gratuitous violence. And don't get me wrong, I like me some violence in my movies. I do, but I like it when it's done right. I like it when the action is fun to watch. I like it when it serves a purpose to the narrative. Watching a dude just jump into a theater and start randomly massacring people and chopping off heads of bodyguards who had like nothing to do with the whole like bad guys plot. I'm like, nah, this
Yeah.
this isn't for me. Mm-mm. And I don't really think it was for anybody. I don't know who they made this movie for. I don't know what purpose it was supposed to serve. Maybe they thought it was going to make money because of the reputation of the last one. But if you're going to do something like that, at least make it good. Don't shit on
Right.
the reputation of an IP.
Right.
If you're gonna
Because that movie instantly became iconic when sadly Lee passed away.
Mhm.
It became like a movie that it should be untouchable, should be in the range of the untouchables. It's like doing The Godfather 2 over again. It just should not be made. It was a masterpiece. It wasn't even that great to begin with, but with all the story woven through it, it became a masterpiece.
So
It shouldn't be
Sarah
touched.
says that they haven't seen it, but one reviewer that they enjoy said, if you take off The Crow as a title and it becomes its own movie, it's not a bad gothic love story. Not good, but not bad. What do you think? Because I haven't seen it, and I'll tell you why.
I think whoever wrote that was being very charitable to this movie.
So
Very bad. I didn't even get the feeling that these people really even loved each other. It's kind of like they just met and like instantly they're like, oh, and then at a certain point he finds out that she killed a dude, and then he's like, I don't really love her anymore. So then he goes back to purgatory, but then while he's in purgatory, he's like, no, wait, I really do love her. And nothing happens to change his mind. He just randomly changes it. So it's just like, what the
Why?
fuck?
So
Just why?
I have personally boycotted this movie and several others that I deem as being untouchable. I don't feel like they should have ever been remade. I will not watch them. I will not watch the remakes. Point Break, Flatliners, The Crow. I feel like we're just regurgitating things in order to make a buck. And these are movies that should not have, like, I have a really bad feeling in my heart that they're going to try and do Lost Boys again, and I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to lose my shit because
they're
going
to do it because it's one of the most popular vampire movies
it
of
really
all time.
is. It is one of the most popular vampire movies of all time. But the problem with Lost Boys is Lost Boys only works when Lost Boys was put out. Flatliners only works when Flatliners was put out.
And Lost Boys,
you change it and you lose it.
You kind of got that when you saw the sequel to Lost Boys.
Yeah.
It
doesn't exist. The sequel doesn't exist.
Yeah, and that like the sequel to Highlander.
Sequel,
Highlander 2 doesn't exist.
This is not the droids you're looking for.
Right.
Okay?
I didn't even know there was a sequel to Lost Boys.
There is a sequel. Don't watch it.
Don't ever watch it.
You should not touch that, but I am afraid that they will. I'm also afraid that they're going to do like a Goonies remake and like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't.
It's going to happen.
100%. They're going to. And I will not watch them. I don't care what great reviews these. I want
to touch on a couple of the movies that I have on my list.
Yeah,
I don't think that because we've got a few minutes left because we ran. Yeah. But these are on a lot of lists, like I said earlier, and I don't necessarily agree. So Armageddon was on a lot of lists. John Carter was on a lot of lists. Gods of Egypt was on a lot of lists. Hard Rain, Hudson Hawk, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Hook was on a lot of lists.
And
great movie.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So these were all on the list and multiple times. And I sadly disagree with the entire list. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
I say I disagree with most. Um, especially, did you say Hook or was that
Hook.
Hook?
Hook was
Hook was on a list that she saw.
Man, as a kid, that was kind of my jam.
It was
Right?
my jam too, and I wasn't even a kid, but I
Yeah.
had kids.
And to this day, I can still like I hear the chant for Rufio in my head.
Yeah.
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 It's
We always
classic,
go like,
iconic
Peter,
lines,
it is you.
right?
I mean,
I believe in you, Peter.
Mhm.
There are just so many lines from that movie. It is so classic. It is so iconic. And to see it, I think it was like 2 or 3 lists that I was scrolling through. To see it on those lists was like really disheartening.
and
Yeah,
then,
I
like
agree.
that's how I felt about John Carter. I thought John Carter should have never been on a list like this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was a great sci-fi fantasy movie. And what happens is a lot of the time they shit on sci-fi fantasy movies because they
Yeah.
expect all of them to be bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen John Carter, but I remember when it came out, like it bombed in the box office, but I thought I remember people saying like it bombed, but it wasn't bad, and it was kind of undeserved. But
It's on a lot of lists, so
that sucks.
It is.
yeah.
It's on some list there. And I it's one of those things. It's almost like when you go to look at the IMDb rating or the Rotten Tomatoes rating of movies, and you go, "What are they fucking judging this on?" Because they'll give it a 6, but every user review says it's the best thing that they've ever seen. You know, so what exactly are these people? You've got a difference between professional critic rating and real people rating.
Mhm.
And that's why we trust real people.
That's true.
For the
Well,
most part.
actor Tom Hanks would agree with you because recently he had something to say about critics that was
Really?
bold. Yeah.
What did he
Oh,
say?
headline. Yeah. Tom Hanks referred to movie critics as, and these were his words, not mine. He referred to movie critics as cocksuckers.
Oh, nice.
Which
Wow, he's losing it.
I was surprised to hear
He's
that.
like, fuck it. I love that. That is phenomenal. Woody from Toy Story.
Yeah.
He calls somebody a cocksucker. That is fantastic.
And they've been kind to his movies over the years, I'm gonna say.
He's put out
Right.
phenomenal movies, though. How could you not be kind?
Yeah, such a good career,
Yeah.
man. It was funny to me like seeing that because when I think of just like wholesome actors who I don't think would do anything to really push the button in terms of like being controversial, like he's the first name that comes to my mind. And I
He's
kind of love
not as
that
wholesome as you thought.
he went
Oh, just to keep people away from this movie, the new Joker movie is horrendous.
yeah. That was if we got to it, that was my last one. It's
Oh, was it? Sorry.
oh yeah. You saw it?
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
just was muddy, in my
He's not
opinion.
even,
I
like,
wanted to
Joker.
like it so bad, but it was very muddy.
Yeah, well, he does a full like reversion as his character, like because the last movie he embraced being the Joker, and then all of a sudden he's not anymore. He just is like he's Arthur and he's conflicted again. Like
Right.
I don't want to see that. And
Right. I watched the whole movie to watch you not be Arthur.
yeah, exactly. That was the whole point of the last one. So
So-
that movie's irrelevant. And then the musical numbers just came up randomly and like they didn't add to the plot. It was like something would happen and we can already as an audience infer how the characters are feeling about it. So now let's sing about it.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
It was not clean.
And
It
I
wasn't-
enjoy myself some musicals, and
Mhm.
when people break out in song, I love it.
Mhm.
But this was
'Cause I do it
wholly
randomly.
unnecessary. And I love Lady Gaga. I mean, I
Mhm.
adore her.
Huge fan. That's why I thought it was going to be good.
Me too.
But
I didn't think they were going to stink on that movie.
Yeah.
unfortunately, I guess that's the one we all three agree on. We can end on that note.
Yep. Don't see Joker.
Yeah.
Don't see Joe.
But that was fun. A lot of good comments. A lot of things I disagree with because I'm the Paula.
That
But
was good. That was like cathartic. Getting it out.
It
know,
was.
right?
It really was.
now we can talk about good stuff.
I enjoy it. But yeah, well, thanks for showing up. And
Appreciate
sorry for
everybody.
being
And
late.
you see what
And,
happened was there was some techie stuff.
but we will be on time next week.
And next week we will have good content for you guys. Hopefully. Or you know what? We'll just wing it.
Ew.
No, it'll be a good show.
It's always a good show.
Thanks for the chat, sharing. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Peace and love.
Adios.
Take care.